guys are hammering it. Man, these Cebu boys are fast, very fast.
Climbing is part of cycling. No matter who you are or what you're trying to achieve, if you ride a bike, at some point you're gonna have to climb. Most especially if you are trying to be fit or competitive for a race, or even if you just want to explore, wander, and see new places. Climbing will always be a part of cycling. And when you learn to love it, your cycling life will never be the same. If you're looking for some tips on how to be better at riding your bike going up an incline, watch this video. Hey, what's up everyone, welcome back to the vlog. So what happened is that I actually ran out of ideas for content. Well, I ran out of topics that I'm interested in doing. And I ended up scrolling through a fellow cycling YouTuber of mine who's also based in Cebu. You guys should check him out as well. So I ended up scrolling over his channel, and you know, I enjoy watching his content. And then I stumbled upon his most viewed video, climbing tips. And then I sort of remembered that a lot of you guys have requested this content and in some form or another asked on how to climb or some tips on how to climb. Carlos' video is actually very good. It has over 50,000 views. Wow. And I'm here calling myself king of the mountains, and I don't have any cycling tips on how to climb and how to go up mountains. So here's my take on this topic. I hope you enjoy this one. I hope you learn from this one. And if you find this video helpful, and if you did enjoy the video, click thumbs up. Please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified each time I upload a new content. So I'll jump right into my first tip. I will have 10 tips for you. My first tip is to watch Carlo Villarica's vlog on his 12 climbing tips. Especially if you're a beginner, that vlog makes a lot of sense, so make sure to check that vlog out. I'm gonna put a link in the description below, so definitely check that out first before continuing into this video, or you can actually watch this video first and then, you know, go back to that. It's very informative, and it's from a perspective of someone who's starting to ride a bike, so it will really help beginners get into cycling and get into going up hills. So into my actual first tip, pace yourself. As I have always said to my students, and I will say it now, pacing is king when it comes to tackling a climb.
Look, somebody just blew up. Are you okay? Alright. Pacing is the key, man. Look at him.
Breathe. If you are gasping for air, then definitely you're already going out too hard. It will be very difficult for you to continue doing the climb if you've already blown up into the middle of the climb, because you still have to exert effort to move forward, in comparison to like when you're in the flats wherein you can just roll. In a climb you have to exert an effort, so it's very difficult to recuperate. So as I've mentioned, pace yourself. In this way you're gonna prepare yourself for the effort. Your body will slowly adapt to the intensity and to the effort. So towards the end, you are actually setting yourself up to go over your threshold. In this way, you're gonna conquer a climb fast, in compared to starting the climb too hard and then blowing up in the middle and then just trying to survive the rest of the way. Alright, so next tip, lose weight. Having a light bike is overrated. If you want to go upgrade, I would suggest Go Aero then. My bike is lesser than 1% of the weight that I carry up a climb. The biggest weight contributor is always your body. If you want to go up easier, lose some weight, it is the most effective way of going faster up a climb, and it's probably healthier for you too.
Kim is absolutely schooling you in this climb. Yep. It helps also
if you're 49 kilos, man.
Alright, so my next tip for you, I'm gonna go double down on my previous tip. Go aero. If you notice in the pro peloton today, even the GC riders, the climbers are wearing skin tight aerodynamic clothing. That is because it still matters going up a hill. If you also notice in the pro peloton, the lightweight bikes, the Emonda, the Tarmac, the Super 6 Evo previously are purely climbing bikes, but now they have aerodynamic features as well. They all gained weight, but they are claimed to be fast because it's more aerodynamic. Being aero really helps, especially when the hill or the mountain that you're trying to tackle is not very steep, so you're still going relatively fast. Avoid baggy clothes because it will only catch the wind. Stay low when you're riding fast, and as I've mentioned in the previous tip, getting light is good, but getting aero has more advantages and it will yield better results even going up a climb. So another tip of mine is go out of the saddle. You will be able to ride going uphill in comfort if you know how to properly ride in the saddle. You'd be able to go through some short pitches or some short sections of very steep gradients riding out of the saddle, and more importantly, it will also alleviate pain, give comfort and rest to the muscles that you use when you're climbing on a seated position. It will just alleviate the pain, use other muscle groups. If you know how to time and when to climb out of the saddle, you'll be a more effective climber. Alright, so my next tip is gears, or the proper gears. Some like to put 1125 cog on their bikes because it's macho and because it's lighter too. But fact of the matter is, even Chris Froome, Alberto Contador, and Tadej Pogacar put very big sprockets on mountain stages. Why? So that they can spin up a climb. The most efficient way of going up a climb is spinning. Your lungs will be taxed as your heart rate will rise up if you spin, but a busting lung recovers faster, way quicker than a swollen leg. When your leg will start to cramp and hurt, it will most likely hurt till the end of the ride. While if you are gasping for air, if you're out of breath, you just rest for a little bit, or you find a downhill and then you're already recovered. And since we're in the topic of gears, get yourself some lightweight breathable clothing. Ideally go for lighter colors as it dissipates heat a lot better. When you're going up, you're moving a lot slower than usual, so there's less wind blowing around you to cool you down. So wear something that's breathable. There are good local options, but if you want to look good, you can have some of the premium brands as well. Let's face it, when you look good, you feel good, you climb better. That's a fact.
Alright, so the next tip I will give you, probably the most simple one, is to just ride uphill consistently. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that in order to be better at riding up mountains, you need to climb. Unfortunately, you don't suddenly become a mountain goat by always riding in the flats. In fact, it's the most simple tip. The easiest way to climb up a mountain is to accept that it is hard. That kind of sounds a little bit ironic, but the point is, when you actually begin to accept the fact that climbing is hard, you begin to enjoy it, you begin to enjoy the hurt. That's where you make the most gains, because you always put yourself in that hurt locker when you're climbing, and then you become comfortable with the uncomfortable, and gradually you become a better climber. Next tip is that get yourself some group of friends who loves climbing too. I always say this, pain shared is half the pain. So if you have friends who really loves to climb, then use that to your advantage. It's always easier to hurt and suffer if there are other people that's going along with you and doing the process of getting stronger as well. I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by good cyclists. I'm a triathlete, so that's expected that I'm not the strongest cyclist in our group, but I have embraced that fact and used that to my advantage. being surrounded by people who's stronger than you only makes you better. So do that as well. Have a group of friends who can push you and make you become a better rider. And another tip that I can give you, if you are in the ballpark of investing into some equipment, consider buying a power meter. It's a little bit pricey, but its value is way more than a new frame set, a new wheel set, or any group set. Going back to my second tip, which is pacing. Pacing in a power meter is black and white. It's either you hit it or you don't. Regardless of your heart rate, if it's hot, regardless if there's a headwind or a tailwind, power is power. So once you figure out what's your functional threshold power, or the power you can produce for an entire hour, then you can have an assumption or have a preset power for a specific climb. If it's short, then you go over your FTP. If it's long, then you go 80 to 90% of your FTP. The game fully changes when you have a power meter. It's a very, very wise investment, provided you know how to use it. You don't see a single professional cyclist without one. Since it's not always visible to the naked eye, its value is always underrated. But for me, when I invested in a power meter, my cycling has improved a lot, not only in climbing but in everything.
Alright, so last tip, but certainly not the least, is just harden the F up. If you've already done the training, you've done the fundamentals, heck, you already invested in a power meter and you've done lots of climbs already, there's still one barrier right there that you have to push through, and then that's your pain threshold. So my advice to you is just harden the F up. As I've mentioned in my previous tip, find a group of friends that are also keen on climbing. Some of them are stronger than you. Just grab and hold onto their wheels, and then just sort of lose yourself and empty yourself holding the wheel. You still have to break through with your own personal pain tolerance. So let's face it, if you want to break barriers, then you're gonna have to harden the F up. Cycling is a very tough sport, if not the toughest, and it really rewards the person who can absorb pain the most. So harden the F up, enjoy climbing. And there's loads of other stuff as well, which is coffee, right nutrition, proper sleep, gym work, and all of that. I did not include that in this vlog because that generally helps cycling, and this is specific for climbing. But if you did enjoy this content, please consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up, and click that notification bell so that you'll get notified each time I upload a new video. See you on the road, or see you on the next vlog.